Hi and welcome to another YouTube video. In today's video I want to show you my entry for the Back to Basics collab, which is organized by Asimsa, who brought together some incredible simmers for this awesome idea, and I feel so honored to be a part of it. And the idea is that many different simmers build and focus on one lot from the 3 base game worlds, Willow Creek, Oasis Springs and Newcrest, and build something on there to the best of their abilities so they can all be put together into one save file, and people don't need to own any packs to download it and have 3 worlds full of beautiful base game houses and community lots to play in. And my lot is the one next to the really big lot in Newcrest, and so therefore I expected the builds around that to be quite expensive. So I didn't build a startup build or a tiny house. I built a pretty substantial family mansion, and I think it ended up having 4 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, and it has room for I think 7 Sims in total. So yeah, I guess, and I hope it ended up being nice enough for the neighborhood, but I think so. Building with a base game is always pretty fun because the choices of what to use and to build with are more limited. So it's more like a puzzle of, okay, I want this kind of look. How do I achieve this with the given objects, in contrast to the huge amount of options that there usually are? Even though it's of course frustrating if you have like one specific thing on your mind and you know exactly how it looks and how it would look in that space and where it is and where you find it, which pack it's from and stuff, and you can't use it. Like, that's a little bit frustrating, but still I had so much fun building with the base game again, and for that alone I am pretty glad that this collab exists. And I have to say, going into it I was pretty nervous because this is a collab. People are going to download this and play in it, and I've seen the incredible things the other simmers have built. By the way, I tried to fit as many links to the other collaborators into the description as possible. And there's also a playlist, which is probably the easiest way to check out all of the other builds. But yeah, anyways, everyone was doing such a great job with their build, or is doing such a great job with their build. And it's a great idea. And I just really wanted to bring my A game, but more suburban houses like this and also base game houses are not really my strong suit. Also, I finished this with my PC setup in a different place than where I started it because my boyfriend of 8 years and I broke up. So yeah, challenging conditions for doing my best, but it ended up really like being a house that I think I would like doing some gameplay in, which was my main focus, my main goal, and I think I achieved that. So yeah, let's talk about this build a little bit. So I wanted to go suburban because I knew like this is Newcrest, the neighborhood, like I've seen the other builds that are going to be around it. They are like very much suburban style, and I wanted to make a house that fits in, but I didn't want to go fully American suburban style with those like wooden panels and stuff, because that's something that I, like as a German person, don't really know from a lot of suburban houses. We usually have more brick houses, and of course like I've also built my fair share of American suburban houses with the base game in my days because it just lends itself to that style very, very well. But this time I wanted to make a suburban sort of brick house, and one thing that I usually really like to do with suburban houses, because of the kind of bump outs that they have and stuff, is to kind of alternate the wallpapers that I use on the exterior. But this time I found this very nice red brick that I think we one day got with a free base game update. Ever since then I used it a lot in kitchens and stuff, but I didn't really use it as much at the exterior than it deserves credit for, because it's a beautiful brick. And so I used that one on the exterior, and I really liked the look that it created, and so I didn't even really consider any other wallpapers and swap them out and stuff where the bump outs are. I just like stuck to that one and just made the accents not with different wallpapers but more with the columns that I used, and so I had a really nice red and white contrast. I don't usually like the color combination of red and white that much, but in this case I think it worked really well, and it's also still like contrasted even further by the black roof, and I just think altogether looks like a real house somehow, which is like with Sims houses, sometimes they look very realistic and sometimes they look very much just like a Sims house, which is not a bad thing, and sometimes a lot more beautiful than real houses look, because like real houses are sometimes not built to be beautiful. But I think this manages to be somewhere in between, where it's of course stylized for the Sims, using the Sims assets and made to also look pretty in a way, but at the same time I try to keep it kind of realistic looking. And on the right side of the build, or at least like if you look at the build from the front, it's the right side. I initially planned to make a diagonal addition to the house, but at the moment it is more of like a weird octagon shape, and that actually accidentally happened when I tried figuring out how I would incorporate that diagonal shape into the rest of the build, and it ended up creating some like weird diagonal angle stuff with like an octagon. And so when I put the roofs on it, I used that octagonal roof piece to connect it, but it didn't really quite line up. And then I took away the diagonal and was left with this, like how it is right now, and I actually really like that. And so I just kept it like this, and later in the interior you're going to see that it is going to become some sort of greenhouse, which I think is really nice and like a nice place to read for the people of the family. And just in general, I also on the interior try to incorporate some like reading nooks and some places for like skill building items like a piano and stuff, without making it too cluttered, because I wanted this to run nice and smoothly for gameplay and just be in general not too hard to overlook where like everything is, and for your Sims to get around as it sometimes becomes when it's too cluttered. I think my favorite parts of this house are the parts that you just saw me finish, which are the front and also the backyard. So in the front I really like the kind of landscaping with the flowers and stuff, and it was actually pretty hard to find a well in the base game because I was not used to the new like order of the build menu since we gotten the tool, not the tool update. The tool mod is also very useful, but that's not, I meant the pond update where we can now with the terrain tools, that's where I got the tool from, where we can now with the terrain tools make a pond and stuff and add water, and ever since then there's like this reorganization happening where you can find those animal spawners and just the things to decorate those water areas with. And ever since then the things that are sort of like well or pool related are also in those categories, and so I did not find that for a long time. I was like desperately digging through debug to see if there's like some sort of well in the debug of the base game, because I was really scared that I could not put that well into the middle of the benches that you see me doing and decorating in the front, but no, it worked. I just needed to find the right place. And then also in the backyard there's the pool, there is like lots of seating area. I didn't know how to fill the area, but I think in the end it ended up like being nice, and the way that I filled it also sort of makes sense and does not look like, oh my goodness, I have such a big space, what do I do with it? Of course that was the thought in my head, but I think you don't see it, and that's a success in my book. And I also think it's really nice to have that whirlpool, the base game whirlpool from the Sims birthday, where that was all we got. But anyways, it's still nice to have a whirlpool in the base game, and so I took out one edge of the pool, the normal pool, to incorporate the whirlpool, and that's something that I've never did before, but I've seen a lot of other Simmers do this and I really liked it in their builds, so I thought why not just do it myself. And the interior is nothing too special. I kind of like the entrance area where I incorporated a round table with sort of a statue head on top of it to kind of make it look fancy, because I guess if they live in a rich people neighborhood they have like some need to show off, maybe, I don't know. And so I thought like having an impressive entrance area could be something that's important to the Sims that are living here. It all of course depends on like how you use this whole save file and with what kind of Sims you're filling it, but because of the like neighborhood and the worth of the lot and stuff, that was like sort of the kind of family that I imagined. And then going off on the one side of the entrance area are two bedrooms. One is the master bedroom and the other one I kind of had as sort of a bedroom for a teen in my head, but you can also use it as a guest bedroom. However, currently it has like a very nice desk space in there, which I think would be very nice for a teen, so that's why I kind of booked it as for a teen in my head. And then on the other side you basically have like everything you need for your Sims to survive and function, like a kitchen, living room, bathroom, and so far and so on. And then upstairs was a little bit difficult to decorate because there is a little part of the roof going across it, and that's something that I usually do not like for gameplay, because then it can become really hard to focus organize your camera in a way where you can still see what you're doing and where your Sims are and stuff. But I managed to work around that with the floor plan, because most of the area upstairs that is covered by the roof I just used as more or less empty hallway space, and the rooms that go off of that, like 2 bathrooms and 2 children's bedrooms, they are the ones that are exposed and still visible, and so I was able to decorate them without problem and also to play in them without problem. And the area that is covered up is basically just for your Sims to walk through, and so I hope that's not going to cause any problems for anyone in gameplay, because I thought that was like kind of a good solution maybe. So yeah, I'm sorry that I cut the interior part a little bit short, but I think that's like kind of nicer for like the interesting parts, because it's just a base game house and we've seen these interior furniture items many times, and there was not really like the time to do like very fancy tool mod stuff to kind of create my own furniture and stuff. I just finished the interior, and I think it's a nice interior, but it's still I cut out most of it because you've seen like living rooms like that built 1,000 times. So I just hope that you like it. I really hope that you liked and enjoyed this video, that you maybe are also going to enjoy the videos that the others made, maybe are going to download the save file and play in it, because it's going to be amazing. Check out Asimsa especially for organizing this incredible project. So I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope we'll see each other again.